Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is actually coming out. I cannot believe this. I used to play the old Budokai 1, 2, and 3 games, the Tenkaichi games, and then when they did the Budokai Tenkaichi games, I played those games all the time. I still remember very clearly to this day the best character in the game was Gohan Super Saiyan 2 as a teenager, and then maybe the second best character was Kid Buu. I mean, those two characters were the fastest characters. You could get the most combos in. Of course, this is excluding maybe like Gogeta and some of those other broken characters that may have been in the game. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, we are getting officially Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4. Now, we don't know if it's going to be called 4 or if it's going to be a reboot of the series like Call of Duty Modern Warfare was, but we do know that we are getting this game. So, the crazy part about this to me is that many people are speculating, and this came out of nowhere, by the way. This news literally dropped yesterday. It came out of nowhere. You would think this would be saved for an E3 or something like that, but nope. This was literally dropped out of nowhere. The crazy part is though, people were speculating that there was going to be a new Dragon Ball game and that it was going to be Xenoverse 3. The fact that they are actually doing a Tenkaichi 4 is insane because objectively we haven't had that game or even any Dragon Ball game of that sort since, well, Fighters is a 2D game. And then if you go back, and that, so if you count that, I guess, yeah, it's been a little while. But if you don't count a 2D game, then you'd have to go back, I guess, to Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Like, this is, there was Jump Force in between, which, I thought was pretty good, but didn't do as well. And then they ended up shutting down the servers after, like, a couple of years. It just, this is the first proper, like, game that we've had, at least for Dragon Ball, in years, maybe even 10 years. I actually don't even remember when the last game came out. But this is huge news. And then we also are confirmed to be getting obviously the Goku Blue and everything from Dragon Ball Super. The question is, how far do they go? Do we get Moro? Do we get the Dragon Ball Super arc in the manga? Do we get Beerus and all these other characters as playable characters? But this is absolutely the biggest news that's come out in a while. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I played those games as a kid. The most iconic mission, in my opinion, was Raditz. Actually holding him and then having to spin your stick on the PlayStation 2 to keep him in place. And then if you failed, then he would just break off and Piccolo would kill you instead. But you actually had to like hold. It was actually pretty difficult back in the day, but it was so fun. Like actually doing that, Piccolo charging up the special beam cannon, and then you being able to finally take him out at the cost of Goku's life, of course, which is how it went in the anime. But I can't believe this is happening. I want to say that Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is among the best fighting games of all time. I'm not. That's not like hyperbole. That's not like that's not an exaggeration. The best fighting games of all time. It's like the old Street Fighter games, Mortal Kombat, and then Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Tenkaichi, is one of the best crafted fighting games of all time. These games had amazing action, amazing combos, and they felt so smooth to play. Using the instant transmission or just the dodging feature, it's been crazy that we haven't had a game like this in forever. And if you check Twitter right now, social media, it was trending with over 200,000 K tweets. It was literally, people were celebrating. So apparently, the last Budokai Tenkaichi game came out in 16 years ago, which is crazy. And then, yeah, people are just going absolutely like crazy. The footage is obviously, is beautiful. I love that they actually took the old footage as well from the old games and then combined it with a slightly new, like just one little tidbit of new footage. And oh, that's just beautiful. And it's such a random time to announce this. Like I said, this was announced, if I'm not mistaken, it was yesterday for sure, but it was announced at like, it might have been like 7 or 8 at night. Like it was just a random, hey, by the way, we're making a new Dragon Ball Budokai game, and it's like, what is going on right now? Like that again, you would think that is an E3 level of announcement. So I I mean, this game came out. Budokai Tenkaichi came out before the Dragon Ball Super anime returned. Like that's how crazy this is. So yeah, hopefully this game has all the bells and whistles that the old ones did. I want to be able to play through the full story again. I think Dragon Ball games have this issue of people have played through the full story so many different times that it's kind of hard to say, hey, you want to play the Dragon Ball story in its entirety again? But I do. I definitely do. And then, yeah, I want to play through the full story again. And then I also want to get at least some of the Super arc from the manga because Dragon Ball Super is has been, and even the movies, because Dragon Ball Super has been on hiatus anime wise for a very long time. It's been it's like 2018 they left, so it's been well over 2 3 years, and we're waiting for it to come back. But for now, it would be really nice to at least get Moro and all the cool stuff from the manga actually in the game. I mean, I'm just taking a look at Twitter's reaction, and this is crazy. And this is how you can tell, by the way, when I said that this is one of the best fighting games of all time. This is how you can tell because even at a shadow drop announcement at like 7 or 8 o'clock on a Sunday, people were like, "Oh my!" And this was during like the Knicks game was on, the Last of Us was getting ready to go, and then boom, this is the news, and it takes over Twitter, and people go absolutely crazy because for many of us in the mid 2000s, this was one of the games that we played all the time on the PS2. It was truly one of the best fighting games of all time, and just so many memories. And there was a ton of them back in the PS2 era. There was, you'll hear me go back and forth calling this game Budokai or calling this game Tenkaichi because back in the day, those two franchises were separate. It was the Budokai games 1, 2, and 3, the Tenkaichi games 1, 2, and 3, and then they actually came together and made 3 Budokai Tenkaichi games. And we got so many of those fighting games, and they were all so good. Like I can't, and it's crazy to me that Dragon Ball gets all this love. I wish One Piece would get even a quarter of the love video game wise. They just had One Piece Odyssey, which I haven't played yet, but man, I sure wish they could get a game like that. But I'll take it for Dragon Ball. It's a really awesome thing. I'm just super excited for this game. I mean, this is truly going to be a callback to a previous age. So, we'll see when the game comes out and what the timeline is. Apparently, they're, doing the early work on it now. But I am super excited about it. And you should be too if you're a Dragon Ball fan, especially if you're a fighting game fan. So let me know what you think down below. And yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is officially coming out. I really hope it has GT too. I love Dragon Ball GT. But we will see. Until next time, see you then.
It's that